you remember with your first therapist or the one during your training, was there any quirks of, oh, you're not conforming and I like that you're not conforming, that you got from them? I know that it was in their house, but like with my one, it was like she had loads of rings, and I always thought, oh, you're a
Yeah.
bit like a rebel. You're a bit of like a almost like to the, it wouldn't be like that now. It's probably fashionable now, but it was almost like to the goth level of, oh my, okay,
Yeah.
okay, look at you, all of this, and she'd use her hands quite a lot, and it'd be like you could, like a
Yeah.
with rings and bangles.
Yeah.
And I was just,
Yeah.
oh, look at you. I'm being taught not to have a bloody cup of coffee in the room yet, and to sit straight, and you're there with all
Yeah.
to be like, and that, but that's
It's
such a
so
minor
true.
thing now. But back then,
But it's
like,
so
yeah,
impactful.
yeah,
That small thing to you as a client was
yeah,
so impactful. And it sounds like it was important that you recognize that in her.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, any kind of rebellious things you were seeing within yours.
Well, there were definitely things that I thought, should she be doing that?
Yeah, yeah,
I think I shared this,
yeah,
that
yeah,
she I won't say cried because she wasn't sobbing,
yeah.
but she let her tears fall.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
remember I was like, oh,
mm, yeah,
what?
yeah,
Why are you crying in my session?
yeah,
Because I thought, well, training, we'd never be encouraged to
yeah,
let our emotions come out. And I was really confused about that initially, but then I started to love it. She wasn't crying every session, but I felt like, wow, you get it. I'm talking about my pain and the
mm,
tears are coming out of your eyes. What
yeah,
the heck? Like, that's
mhm,
you're feeling
yeah,
the pain that I'm describing. And that brought us closer. So for me, it worked.
mm,
And I love that I saw her do something that I was learning wasn't okay. Because when I shared it, I think I remember our tutors being like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
And I was thinking the same thing. But that might have been the first example of you're allowed to do things
mm,
that
yeah,
you're not taught and
mm,
it can
mm,
work well.
yeah,
So yeah, I was surprised in the beginning, but
mm,
I really valued that
yeah.
because it meant that she understood and she got it.
Mhm. Yeah. And now with hindsight, us doing the job, so it's so easy to do. I've not been to a point where I have let the tears out, but that's been a conscious choice because of the context
Yeah,
of the time. But Christ, when you're told a story or something massive just happened, they just can see your eyes well up. And
yeah,
as a therapist, you do have to make that choice of, am I going to let this out? Am I going to, and
yeah,
be beneficial to them, or do I need to hold on to it for now? Um,
yeah,
and, which is a really difficult choice to make.
yeah. It is difficult. I think remembering whose pain that is,
Exactly. Yeah.
um, and understanding, are these tears here because something has been personally activated in me about my life, or is this the client's pain
Yeah.
that is being communicated through me and through my emotions?
Mm. Yeah.
And it might help people determine whether they allow the tear to fall or
Mm.
not.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or how do you think you were able to come into your own and allow yourself to show up
Mm.
in the way that doesn't look like this stereotypical therapist that we keep talking about?
For me, I think it's easy to answer because I was figuring out who I was as I was training and then going into private practice in terms of like
Yeah.
my sexuality, my likes, my dislikes, my neurodivergence. And even though I'd always had it, I didn't get my dyslexia diagnosis till just before we started training. So all of these new things I was discovering about myself. So it kind of there was no choice but them to merge a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I've just spent 23 years trying to be something different, trying to be someone else. I can't do this in my job either. Um,
Mhm.
that's one very small reason, though, actually, that I started recognizing my sexuality, because I thought, I can't, that's not congruent if I'm sitting with someone and I haven't figured that stuff out myself.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was kind of like I was forced to, because I was figuring out who I am and realizing that who I am doesn't match up with the way that I think a therapist should be. And on top of that, I
Yeah.
started working with diverse client groups. And I realized that the more me they were seeing, the more real me they were seeing, the easier the work was. Um, so then it just started making more and more sense. And it makes total sense now. It's still quite hard to find that balance of how much do I put forward or hold back. Um, but yeah, life is just so much easier when it's like, well, this is how I'm turning up. Um,
Yeah.
I'll do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good point that when you allow yourself to show up or be visible
Yeah.
in your true form without
Yeah.
hiding huge parts of who you are, let's just say, because I do think there is a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up attracting people more authentically because they can see you
Yeah.
rather than them being drawn to someone who isn't real because you're showing your full self. You want someone to be drawn to your true self because then
Yeah.
life is just easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people fit better
Mm.
if you're showing up as who you truly are. You don't have to put this pretense on, and you shouldn't do that. Work is such a huge part of our lives, and no one wants to show up to work and have to pretend to be someone else
Yeah.
every single day. That is really exhausting,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you'll burn yourself out doing
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's. I think it's from Watchmen, the TV series Watchmen. It was like a line saying you can't breathe under a mask. Um,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
always think about that. Like it's just suffocating
yeah,
if you're just pretending to be something else.
that's so true. I love that because you can't. It's a barrier, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you
Mm.
overcome things? How did you kind of change to move from what you've been taught to who you are? That kind of
Mm.
version of you that you are now.
Yeah. As you said, I think it was just allowing myself to show up
Yeah.
as who I truly am. Seeing other therapists who look like me help. So, representation, I think that's really important. So, social media has been really impactful and significant for me. So, seeing that there are other people um, doing their things. I don't feel like my personality is a typical therapist personality. I'm a bit animated. I use my hands a lot. I laugh a lot, smile a lot, and I that's not how I don't think I've seen or throughout the journey, I didn't see that's not who I thought was a therapist.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see more people who are a bit more animated and jovial, but still it
Mm.
feels a bit of an anomaly. An anomaly? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has been an ongoing thing for me. I think it's important that you want to be taken seriously within any role that you do. But
Yeah.
being a therapist, you're talking about, for most of the time, some quite difficult and painful emotions. And I've always thought, oh, does the way that I present in terms of my personality fit with that?
Mm.
And I think it can.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I'm like, well, why can't it?
Mm.
There's a lady that I follow on Instagram, and she is a mindfulness coach.
Yeah.
And she's also very jovial. She's very funny. And she has a very larger than life personality. And she says, people always say to her, how can you do mindfulness
Yeah.
when you're
Mm.
so,
Mm.
when you're so flamboyant or so eccentric? She's like, what? But like, what
Yeah.
do you mean? Because people have this idea that to do mindfulness, you have to be zen and quiet and whatever that is. So that can come up for me a little bit. But the more I show up, as you said, the more comfortable I have felt.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, this is me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like that about almost the rebellion against the norm.
Yeah.
Things like I used to love cardigans. I can't wear them anymore because I'm not going to be. I can't conform to that. I can't get bored of that.
I mean, people always take the piss out of the cardigan therapist thing online too.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
like
a cardigan,
yeah, but I'm
but I'm
not.
with you. Yeah.
My supervisor has one. He looks great. But I just can't. I can't. But I've always there is that thing. It's like if you tell me what to do, there's just going to be that part of me that's like not
Yeah.
anymore. No,
Yeah.
been there, done that, tried to conform. We're not doing it.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that one. Do you think, is there any advice that you would give a therapist who maybe feels the way that we have described and is trying to find themselves in private practice or just therapy work
Mm,
and is looking around and feels a little bit like, oh, I don't really see myself represented in this field and it feels a little bit scary?
mm. I'd say maybe find a supervisor and or therapist that it does feel like they're going to get you. I was just going to say is like you, but that's not what I mean. It's like that they're going to get you and they're going to encourage those parts for you because you don't want to be working with a supervisor that's going to try and box you in. Um,
Yeah.
because you do have to be careful that some of the kind of rules are there for a reason, and we're not talking about
Mhm.
kind of coming in, um, smoking a fag and going all in or whatever with your clients. There are reasons that we have to still put our therapist hats on, not our masks, but
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
so if you're doing that in the confines of like supervision or personal therapy, working that out, you're going to have someone that's also ethically minded that's going to go, yes, let's screw the boxes, but still remember that there are um, ethical reasons why we might need to, um, I don't know, not adapt into a box, but kind of move around things or flow with things a bit depending on who's in front of you. Because there are those times
yeah,
where actually you have to be the person that doesn't give that much at the beginning. It's
yeah.
very
I
adaptable.
agree with what you said, by the way. And for that, I think having a supervisor who doesn't judge you or make you feel small for being the person that you are, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at you because I know that we've had conversations about this in the
Yeah.
past, but it's so important. You need to have someone who can guide you, challenge you, and uplift you at the same time. Because my gosh, having the right supervisor is really important. Um, I think going on a journey of this sounds so cliche of self-discovery.
True though, isn't it?
No, because I think how can you truly be who you are if you don't know who
Yeah.
you are, really? And when you have been taught one way, it can be difficult to know who you are sometimes because we are comparing ourselves to something that doesn't align, and then we end up merging into this person. So the lines can be a little bit blurred. So I would encourage people to really get to know themselves, and that will help to inform them in terms of how they show up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, especially with social media, my goodness me, like you're looking at all of this content and then it's hard to tell, like what should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like this person's doing this. Wow, that's really cool. I'd like to like let's figure out what's going on here
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
so that we can have a secure sense of self, or be working towards a secure sense of self, and then we can understand how visibility plays into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say, engaging with some work where you can learn how to know yourself better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. I would add, might be an unpopular opinion, do it without books that are supposed to help you figure out who you are. Um,
Okay.
so obviously there's some that I would recommend, but most self-help books are not written for you because they don't know you. You
Yeah.
know yourself by going out and trying things and doing stuff and joining clubs and trying to make friends and realizing that you don't want to be friends with that person or that that person doesn't vibe with you. It's writing a long list of your favorite films or trying different genres. It's not necessarily the information you're going to get in this book of how to
Yeah.
find yourself. You've just got to spend time with yourself.
Yeah.
I would argue you
Yeah.
could find yourself more if you found a genre of books that you really like versus um, a book about how to find yourself. Because you'll read these books, go, oh my God, I feel so represented in these. I do
Yeah.
that. I do that. I do that. Um, no matter what genre.
Yeah.
Whereas a self-help book might be more like, do this and you'll become, do this and you'll do that. Um,
Yeah.
but again, that might be my unpopular opinion.
No, I agree with that too, because you're aligning with yourself rather than
Mm.
creating yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of coming back to yourself in finding the example that you've given, a genre of books where you're like, it ignites something in you.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with that.